version of this was my pitch for Scream 5.
I think that every kid probably feels this way, but I felt like a weird little kid.
Were there any standout moments, like when Neely peed herself on set in Heretics? Are there any standout moments that you guys have on this set by any chance that you'd like to share? Well, thank you so much for joining us today, fellow Stardust. If you don't already know, my name is DeRay, aka Rainbow Fright, and as you can see, I have writer-director Jose Prendes back with me, who has just finished his 10th feature film and the 6th with The Asylum. And if you're not familiar with The Asylum, they are an American independent film and distribution company based out of Burbank, California, who are known for producing low-budget direct-to-video movies, basically mockbusters. So their strategy is to ride the coattails of successful blockbuster films and crank out as many movies as possible in a short amount of time, giving them titles that are very similar to the major pictures. So they've given us movies like Snakes on a Train, Transformers with a PH, Jose's Heretics, and Morgan Killer Doll, and of course its most successful movie to date, Sharknado, which was a partnership with Sci-Fi. And Jose today has brought with him one of his cast members, who I am so excited to chat it up with. We have Kylie Rosanne, aka Haunted Hippie, who plays Fiona. And thank you again to the both of you guys for joining me today to talk about your experience on this movie.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, of course. And real quick, Jose, would you like to give us a brief synopsis of Morgan Killer Doll, which obviously is capitalizing on the success of Megan and Megan 2.0? And how did Morgan come to life for you, and what was the creative spark?
Absolutely. First, let me sort of clarify the whole mockbuster angle. This
Yeah,
was while The Asylum does like to do that, our movie is completely different from Megan. It has zero connection to that world, beyond the fact that both our movies have a female character with an M name. That is really the only connection to that movie. So I preface it that way because I think a lot of people have a stigma. I think The Asylum has, unfortunately, rightfully attributed to itself as not so much a ripoff company, but a company that tries to trick people. My goal, at least with this movie, was not to trick anybody. It was to give somebody who loves killer doll movies the most unique and I think outside the box take on the killer doll storyline. Without going too much into details, we won't go into spoilers. The titling of it, Morgan, that came afterwards in post. The movie we shot as Killer Doll, so it is an original concept. It is not in any way, shape, or form like a Transmorphers or Snakes on a Train, like you mentioned. It's not in any way designed to be a lookalike to those movies.
Yes, exactly. Love that. All right. So how did the idea come to you in the first place, would you say? What was the...
I've had this idea in my head for like over 2 years. At one point, it was my a version of this was my pitch for Scream 5. Which would have been... I would have been able to present it to the right people at the time, but it unfortunately didn't go forward. But there was a version of this that was my pitch for that. I'd been wanting to do a killer doll movie since I was a kid. I grew up with Chucky, and I still love Chucky. I think he's amazing, and so I've always wanted to do something like that. And so I married these kind of two ideas, and I said, "Oh, this would be great if we did this as a killer doll movie." And at the time, The Asylum was looking for something that they could release at the same time as Megan, and I pitched them the idea. I go, look, it's not Megan, but it's I think for people who are looking for a killer doll movie, they want to see something different. I think this is special, and they agreed, and then they gave me the green light to make it happen.
Yeah, especially with the resurgence of Chucky with the series and Annabelle coming back and all that stuff. So Yeah, definitely perfect timing. And that totally does explain the Scream vibes that you get from this movie
Oh
too,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Yes. And Haunted Hippie, once again, welcome. I'm actually a huge fan of your channel. Your deep dives are
Oh,
just so much fun to listen to. Yes. And
thank
you
you.
too are also a filmmaker. I loved your latest short, Light. I also enjoyed Somnom from 2022.
Oh,
And both have that creep factor that I really look for in horror movies. So, for you, what draws you to the horror film genre, and what got you excited about working on Morgan Killer Doll?
well, the excitement for Morgan, I think, is probably just because of my love of horror. That's probably a given. But I don't know what initially drew me besides having family that introduced me to the genre really young. And I don't even think that my grandpa or my dad were cognizant of the fact that they were big horror fans. They were mostly like classic cinema fans. But then somehow all the movies that my grandpa was showing me was like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, House of Wax, Signs, Jaws. So they not self proclaimed, but they were horror fans. And then a little later on, my dad shows me like Jurassic Park. And then I got my dad really into the genre. So, I mean, obviously, if I didn't have some love within me for it, then I don't think it would have gone as far as it has now. But that was definitely the inception of it. And I was really into Tim Burton as a kid. I think that every kid probably feels this way, but I felt like a weird little kid at times. And I think that's a human thing, just like not relating to the world, or you think that you don't. But I think that was also why I was drawn to horror, because it just is the most different genre, but I feel like the one most reflective of life in general. So
Yeah.
that's the draw. And so yeah, to be a part of Morgan was really special for me because it was my first feature film that I ever acted in. I That was not something that I had ever kind of imagined for myself. So yeah, hard to put into words how exciting it was when Jose was like, I wrote a character for you. you know?
Awesome. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really cool. Very cool that also too that this is your very first feature. You know, you were a pro. It didn't look like it was your first feature. So looking forward to your next one.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. So to go back to your other point, Jose, about this, not necessarily being a mockbuster or movie that's going to trick people. After watching 3 of your Asylum movies, it's apparent that your movies specifically stand out from all of the rest of the films from Asylum because they have a lot of heart. Your style brings more character and depth and emotional nuance compared to all the other typically fast-paced movies. How challenging is it to write horror with emotional stakes under tight deadlines and budgets? But you did mention before that you had this kind of in the bag. So you can talk a little bit more about how you had to kind of maybe switch things up and then just plan for the shoot.
Well, thank you for saying so. That's a great compliment. I love the Asylum, to hear somebody say, "Oh, this feels better than what you would expect," or this doesn't feel like an Asylum movie. Honestly, that's a compliment, because that you want to make. You don't want to make what people expect. You want to make something special. You want to make, as a filmmaker, you're always trying to make a movie, no matter what. You're trying to make your movie, tell your story, whatever the world is. You're trying to shape it. Opportunities are to make a movie in this industry is hard. Opportunities are few and far between. So when you get a chance to make a movie, any filmmaker should take a crack at it. Would I love to be making Blumhouse movies? Absolutely. Would I love to be making a living wage? Making big theatrical movies? Of course. I don't choose this.
One day,
One
yeah.
day, one day. But these opportunities are great, and when you get them, you shouldn't throw them away. And I know when I watch a movie, the things that I look for are characters I care about and something I've never seen before. So I try to deliver that as much as I can with the limitations that we're given. We shot most of these movies are shot in 6 days. This was shot in 6 days. Our budget was very small. We're always rushing, but the good thing is with the script, I have time to breathe, and I have time to look at it and approach it in a way that's not at least in my opinion, not going to be a waste of time for the audience. So I try to develop characters. I try to give them, emotional arcs and nuances and things. And if not, then it's the easy thing of just making them likable and funny and entertaining, which is what, Fiona's character specifically kind of, you're not necessarily supposed to love her, but at the same time, you do love her because
Nope.
she's so fun and unique. And you kind of just want like, oh, I think she would be an awful person in real life, but I kind of like hanging out with her, which is kind of how Kylie is in real life.
I'm eccentric. I'm quirky.
Right. People are into that. You're right.
Yeah.
But if you can give an audience someone to root for, at least someone to like, cheer for, or maybe just actively hate, then the audience is with you and not against you. And on these kind of movies, the audience can sometimes be against you sometimes. So you want to do as much as you can to say, yo, hey, let's be on the same team. I promise it'll be worth your time. So I try whenever possible to not do the same old thing.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I learned just really quick from Jose, a really good tip for characters to get people to like them and to have even just a shred of a stake there is just, if like make people laugh. Because I think Jose, you said something like, "Oh no, that character made me laugh. I like them. I don't want to see them die."
Yeah.
That was one of the better tips I remember you sharing with me.
I mean, it's like, I always go to Scream as a template, even though it's like a 90s movie, but it's perfect for the reason that, I mean, to this day, people still want Stu Macher to be alive. People will say, oh, he's still alive. He's coming back. It's because you loved him so much. And there was just so much life there that you don't want to say goodbye to those people. And those are the characters that people remember. And at the end of the day, you watch a movie again for the characters, not necessarily the special effects or whatever. You watch it because you want to spend time with these people. And that's what I hope I achieved with Morgan, because I wanted people to really fall in love with those people.
Yeah, totally. So this leads into my next question for Kylie. So even though Morgan is capitalizing on the success of Megan, it doesn't really go into the whole AI technology like we talked about before, but we do get the emotional story with themes of loneliness, childhood trauma, and dysfunctional families, which Megan does also touch on a bit. But with this one, with Morgan, I do get May vibes, which I absolutely love. Mixed a little bit with of Sissy from Shudder, a Shudder original. Absolutely love that one as well. So, Kylie, the tone of Morgan often walks that line between fun chaos and genuine creepiness. How did you approach your character within that balance, and how much of yourself would you say was injected into that character?
Well, when Jose approached me, I think he mentioned, or maybe we just talked about it in interviews, but he essentially wrote the character to be based on my haunted hippie like persona, which I've gotten questions about, like how much of haunted hippie is really you? Like is it a persona or whatever? And I say, it's like the intros. You got to give people a hook, and then when I get talking about movies, my videos are not scripted. So that's just coming from me. But so that's kind of like, I suppose, the inception of the character. And then in terms of tone, that was the question, right? So I think that I mostly got to be comedic relief. And part of that was building this character who doesn't really have a filter. And she's got other stuff going on, but in the vein of like being insecure and a little self-centered and stuff. But for the most part, it's really fun to just like step into that space and drop the filter. Even though it's scripted, you still have to like embody that. So I felt like, oh man, I just get to go mask off and like not really be restrained with the words I'm saying. And I don't know. It mostly was just fun. There were some intense days, but for the most part, that's what I was getting to lean into. So
yeah, it was definitely fun seeing that persona on screen be almost like a full realized person. Because with Darcy, you feel for her. She's not, to me, the bad guy. She's just out there protecting her best friend from the two bad guys, Fiona and Brad. but I also still just enjoyed watching you because you were the most fun character of the group, to be honest. So yeah, it was just that fun dynamic to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that like a lot of horror baddies feel kind of seen with Fiona, so I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So yeah, going back to the quick turnarounds, Jose, and wild concepts that the Asylum likes to bring, is there a behind the scenes challenge or a surprise that stands out during this film shoot?
I mean, there's a ton of behind the scenes challenges when you're trying to make a 105-page script in 6 days. Everything is a challenge. You're fighting time. The environment, airplanes. Oh, hold on, we gotta take it again. The plane's coming. Okay, hold for sound. Like, oh, we only have 30 minutes to get this. We gotta go. It's It's not easy. It's never easy, but it's at no point was it never not fun, and I think that's the distinction. That it still is fun no matter the stress and the headaches. One of the biggest obstacles was getting her approved. Her
Yes,
look.
I look and ask for a closer look of her.
Yeah, we didn't have a full Morgan look until like 3 days into our 6-day shoot, or 2 days really. Oh, she's gonna fall over, but anyway, she's fine. She's gonna fall.
There she goes.
I'll get her in a minute. But she was probably the hardest thing to get the producers to agree on the look, so we could look forward and we can actually shoot the killer doll part of the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's never easy, but it's easier with a good crew. Camilo Godoy, my DP, is amazing. A line producer, Brendan Patrizzo. With a really good crew, you can make it happen. And if the cast is there as well, if the cast knows their lines, and if the cast is 100% in on making an amazing thing, then it will be as good as it can be.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Very nice. So were there any, Kylie, I guess this is more directed towards you, but both you guys can answer, but were there any creative freedoms or unexpected moments that really surprised you while working together? And how much room was there for improv? Because I know with, Heretics, there was a lot of room for improv. There was hardly even a script there, but this, you had a full script. Was there any opportunity for improv or creative input on your end?
You would think that there wouldn't be because, like he was saying, we only have 6 days, but we would get like, I don't know, we had maybe 2 or 3 really sweet moments where we actually did get time to rehearse a scene together. Me and the other actresses, and Jose, if he had time, he'd be able to sit in. And then if anything felt just a little wonky or whatever, Morgan is not cooperating.
She's not cooperating.
But luckily we were able to on set. Nice time.
Yes.
So
Nice.
yeah, I think actually, so the line that I referenced earlier is no type of spoiler, very early on, but Fiona getting defensive, she's like, excuse me, like I'm quirky, people are into that. We would just we had like a little quick back and forth, and I think Jose and I kind of like came up, I think that was one of the ones we came up with on the spot. So if, when you're rehearsing, anything feels a little like, oh, it wouldn't quite be these words coming out of my mouth, we would usually come up with something like really cool and natural on the spot. It was kind of rare because of just like how quick everything was, and because the writing was good anyway. So yeah, we had a few little collaborative moments that were really nice that made it into the movie. So
Yeah, I always, especially if I write it, I it's not gospel. I want to be able to have it be as fluid as possible and as organic as possible, because I feel that's when you get the really natural performances. And, when you cast it and you hear the actors say it, I'm like, it sounded better in my head, but the way you're saying it is different. It's not bad, but it's not working, so let's change it. And that's all internal monologue. I wouldn't say that to an actor. I'll just say, you know what, say this instead, take that out. But you make the tweaks, or usually I'll come up with something insane and I go, oh, say this instead, and they're like, oh wait, are you serious? I go, yeah, just say it. And then it stays in the movie. That is great. I mean, So I love to be able to have that freedom, and I let the actors obviously have a say into their character and how they would approach things. And sometimes I'll say, no, that doesn't work because of this, or oh yeah, I love that, let's go with that. Because you have to be able to do that, or else then it allows the actor to have ownership over the character as well. And I think it's a better environment if it's collaborative and not like, no, I'm the master, do what I say this now,
Totally.
it's just not as fun if we can't play with it.
Yeah.
Definitely made me feel more connected to Fiona for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To be able to embody that much more, for sure.
Mm.
So were there any standout moments, kind of like when Neely peed herself on set in Heretics? Are there any standout moments that you guys have on this set by any chance that you'd like to share?
Actually, yeah. I think it's always kind of goofy when people ask, like, "Oh, you were making a horror movie. Did anything scary happen?" And actually, yes. Actually, yes. I have a scene in a bathroom. I won't say anything else. But I was in a little bit of. I'm trying to avoid spoilers. I was in a little bit of a compromising position, and a giant cockroach crawled up out of the bathtub drain, and I started screaming bloody murder. I have a legitimate phobia of bugs where it doesn't matter what's happening in my head. I know I'm safe. A cockroach is not going to hurt me, whatever. But I freeze and scream. Our makeup artist, Victoria, was in there with me. She was the exact same way, just froze and screamed. The first AD had to run in and save us. We were two able-bodied people. We could have just, smushed it or whatever.
I hope the camera was rolling.
It wasn't.
No. We were filming at the time, and then all of a sudden I hear screaming. I was like, "What the fuck? What happened?"
I'm so sorry.
It's probably in the footage somewhere, though. I'm sure we caught that on tape.
Oh my god.
Man.
I don't know if I knew that you guys were recording out there, actually. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, it's fine. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, roaches, I just don't want their little fingers grabbing on me and sticking to me. I know they're not going to do anything bad to me either, but they're just the one thing I just do not want touching me at all.
It was legitimately the biggest one I'd ever seen in my entire life. I think it was probably as big as my palm. I see them every once in a while, out on the streets or whatever. You see one scuttling along a curb or something. It was a monster. I swear.
Any standout moments like that for you, Jose?
Well, it was just one time that I heard random screaming, and I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" No, gosh, what's interesting about this one, and it's I'm gonna take credit for it, but I honestly think it's just the casting. But my casts have been able to really bond with each other in such a special way, and so it makes me happy, like a proud dad, that everyone's kind of become friends. Like the heretics, all the heretics are still talk to each other. The Morgan folks, hang out all the time. The film I just finished, we have a group chat going, and we're doing board game nights. So it's everyone just kind of, and this is in a very small amount of time, we have, and I think it's that trench, warfare mentality. Hey, we all went to war and we survived. That veteran, survivor mentality that oh my God, we went through some shit. In that small time, we really have managed to become really close, dear friends. And I think that's a really nice fallout from making these movies. Beyond the fact that we get a movie at the end of the day, is the fact that nobody hates each other. And that's a plus. That's a plus.
Yes. Building community, which is always awesome, because your next film is going to be that much better when you have the same group of people who you can trust and just keep building upon with. So
I mean, it's great to be able to, I've got a couple things coming up, and I'm like, oh, I know who I'll call up, this person and that person, and I know I can count on this person, I know I can count on that person, and it's nice for an actor to have that too, to have a a director that's going to have their back and it's going to fight for them to get a part, because it's as hard as it is to make a movie, it's even harder to get cast. I mean, some
So
actors
many actors.
will audition after audition and you get nothing. I mean, it's hard. It's not easy.
Yep. And I know you kind of laughed at this question with Heretics, and it's okay if you laugh again. I don't really have an answer. You can say whatever you'd like, but was there any kind of message or takeaway you wanted people to take from Morgan Killer Doll? Or just, again, to have a good ass time?
I think with this one, mainly because I was so connected to it, and and I've never really addressed this. So it's a good question. I actually have an answer for you today.
Yay.
The scariest thing I can think of is somebody committing. I think it's the ultimate saddest thing ever, because it's someone taking themselves out of the equation, and to get to that point, man, I just can't even imagine the things that have to go through somebody's mind to go, to get to that level. It's a powerful situation. So if anything, I'm hoping if somebody watches it and they're struggling with that issue, that I'm not saying the movie's going to solve an issue or be like, hey, you know what, maybe I don't do this. Well, maybe it helps them. I don't know. Again, that wasn't my intention, but it was certainly in my mind that I'm hoping if someone's suffering through these kind of things that they don't go through with it, I guess.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Yeah, and you know what I should have done? I should have did a hotline thing in the credits. So I didn't think about that. I'm sure they would have allowed me to do that, but
yeah,
sure. Yeah, if you're watching this and you're struggling, please just hang in there. That's the world needs you. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to my first question to Kylie, just about, why horror? And for me and a lot of folks like us, it's just therapeutic, and it does help us get through these mental struggles and just struggles in life in general. So that's beautiful. I love that. Very cool. Well, was there anything else that you guys wanted to share about the movie at all before we wrap things up?
For me, this was the movie that is really close to my heart. Obviously, because I'd had this story in my head for a long time. So finding that perfect cast was crucial, and I'm glad that the producers of the Asylum basically allowed me to have the cast I wanted. Pretty much everybody I wanted got cast. And it all started with Bix Krieger, who plays Darcy. She was the first person I had cast. We had worked together before on a film called Monster Mash. Yeah, she's great, and I was such a fan of her work. And she's not here, but she has said in the past that this was the role she was meant to play. And to hear that from an actor, it means the world to me that it meant that much to her. Bix was an integral part of the movie. And then meeting Shelby Wright on Heretics, and then feeling like, oh man, she's so similar to Bix. She'd be almost too perfect for Astrid, and then her getting it and being able to go toe to toe with Bix, and I'm proud of both of them very much for giving me probably two of my favorite characters I've ever written, and I'm happy to have worked with both of them. And the fact that Kylie said yes to basically playing herself, I mean, a version of herself. I was like, I don't know if she'll do it, and she might not be good, but I think at least she'll fit the part. And you know what? She turned out to be amazing. I was really surprised. I was like, God damn! I think Bix called her a natural, absolutely a natural. So I'm gonna try and put Kylie in everything I do going forward. But it'll be a version of Fiona. Unfortunately, that's just your typecast. You're my Wednesday going forward for everything.
Shit. Hey, go with it. Take what you can.
Fine. Yeah, I'll take what I can get.
Very good. Well, there you have it, Stardust. This movie is a whole lot of fun. So if you're interested in checking it out, it is now playing on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, and Fandango at home. Am I missing anything else that it might be playing on, Jose?
Oh, it's probably playing on every kind of streaming
Okay.
pay-per-view kind of place. Google Play, I think there's one. I don't remember all of them, but it's all over, and it'll eventually be on Tubi. I think probably. I mean, this is coming. This is right now July, so maybe by Halloween it'll be on Tubi. I don't know.
Okay, awesome, perfect. And I'll put all that info down in the description as well, along with your contact information, as well as
Right.
Kylie's information so that we can check her out. Please follow her channel as well as Jose's channel. Both have really fun and interesting and very different channels, so definitely check them out.
Yeah,
And
mostly
yeah,
mostly
I
on my channels, I make Rainbow Fright watch bad movies.
yes, I try to enjoy them, but the most fun with those is just talking shit about them with you guys. So
Yeah,
He's made
exactly.
me do the same a couple of times.
My favorite.
Yep.
Would you like to talk about anything you've got coming up on your channel, Haunted Hippie?
I'm doing, all the regular channel stuff. I've got reviews of new movies coming out, and I have a series reacting to bad reviews of all my favorite horror movies. I've been taking it by decade. So, but then in terms of more personal projects, I am currently crowdfunding for my next independent short film.
Woo!
And thanks to Jose, I think Harry Manfredini is scoring it, which is
Oh,
really
shit.
cool.
That's
Oh
what's
shit, I
up.
know. Yeah.
Okay. All
So we
right.
won't be in production until probably like early next year, maybe like February, March, but just fundraising for the rest of the year and hosting fun events for that. That's
Very
it.
cool. All right. I know you talked this whole time about Morgan, but is there anything else you'd like to share about what you're doing, Jose?
It's become a very busy second half of the year for me, which I'm very grateful. I just finished a new movie. Right now it's called Evil Nun, but that will change. That title is not going to stick. So it's a
Okay.
religious horror movie. I reunite with Neely. I didn't make her pee this time, unfortunately.
Dang it.
But I tried really hard, and so Neely's back. Taryn, also from Heretics, is joining me again on that one. And I'm in early pre-production on 3 other projects, which are going to be shooting in the next few months.
Okay.
Which I can't talk about at the moment, but and basically almost all of them are coming out before the end of the year. So I'm going to be very, very swamped, which is nice. I'm
Awesome.
very happy for that.
Love that for you. Well, congratulations. Congratulations to the both of you for
Thank you.
what you got coming up. It's very cool.
Thank you.
All right, Stardust. Take a look down in the description for all of that info. And until next time, peace. Did
Yeah.
forget to tell you guys that I am dressed up as the Gumdrop Princess, but I didn't really say that at all during the whole thing. That's why I'm all pink and shit. So I just left another little nickname for each other, Gumdrop
Aw,
Princess.
I love it.